Welcome to the Taste Test channel, and in this video we'll be taking an impartial look at popular fizzy orange or orange sodas from around the world to discover how some of the best-selling and iconic varieties around the globe differ in taste. In our lineup today we have one of the very first orange sodas ever available, Crush from the USA, much loved iconic French brand Orangina, a worldwide favourite with a surprising backstory, Fanta from Germany, Mexico's favourite soft drink Jarritos, a name with connections to Leonardo da Vinci, San Pellegrino of Italy, and finally notorious UK favourite Tango. As always, just for fun, we'll be awarding our Taste Test channel Best in Class award to the winner, and if you're new to the channel, we'd love you to hit subscribe and ring the bell so you can join us for our regular taste tests. So soda, aid, pop, fizzy drinks, an industry now worth hundreds of billions, all started back in 1767 when English chemist Joseph Priestley inadvertently invented carbonation after suspending a bowl of water above a beer vat. Being the inquisitive scientist, naturally he then consumed the result and described a peculiar fascination when drinking it. Within a decade of his publishing a paper entitled Impregnating Water with Fixed Air, the first soda drinks were being produced, with the very first bottled option coming from a name you'll probably recognise, Swiss-German Johann Schweppes. Soda drinks were thought to have medicinal properties, so it was only a matter of time before flavours were added to make them taste better. Ginger, lemon, and later, of course, cola and coca, but that's another of our videos. As for orange, there's several claims to being the very first bottled orange soda, but one of the very earliest was the iconic American brand Crush. But more on that shortly. Today, 600 billion litres of soft drinks are sold per year, and we can only scrape the surface of the many orange varieties available, but our lineup here includes some of the most iconic, popular and interesting brands from around the globe. Moving on to price, there's quite a bit of variation here, and hidden import duties no doubt affect some of these prices, so costs may well differ depending on where you're based. But you can see the price I paid per bottle or can is shown below. As you can see, Jarritos from Mexico was the most expensive, but I'm sure it must be cheaper in Mexico, and Tango and Fanta from the UK and Germany were the cheapest. Nutritional-wise, for this test we've chosen standard rather than diet drinks in order to fully sample the original flavours, so while there's no fat and negligible salt, they will be fairly high in sugar. It does vary dramatically by brand though, so the chart below lists the brands from top to bottom in energy content per 100ml, but bear in mind the average can will contain about 3.5 times these amounts. As you can see, Crush from the US has the most energy, and the UK Tango and German Fanta have the least, less than half the calories in fact. Looking at sugar content reveals that Crush has 12 grams per 100, that's a whopping 43 grams of sugar in one can, while Orangina and Tango have the least with 4.3%. It's worth noting that although these are not diet drinks, 3 of them, that's Fanta, Tango and Orangina, all contain sweeteners. But how will all of this affect the taste? Well, as I like to say, that's why we're here. So we'll start our test with one of the first ever bottled orange sodas, the iconic American brand Crush. The Orange Crush Company began in 1916 when a Californian chemist joined forces with an Ohio orange syrup maker. Originally called Ward's Orange Crush, the crush part referred to the real orange oil, extracted to add its unique orangey flavour. At a time when both soda and vitamin C were being heralded by the medical profession, the drink took off quickly and was super successful. Originally it contained real pulp and soon after real juice, but eventually both were removed in favour of longer lasting ingredients. Today the brand is owned by US group Keurig Dr Pepper and is popular around the world. As per all the drinks in today's lineup, it contains natural orange flavouring. On the downside though, this one also lists high fructose corn syrup. So what we're going to do is pour out all the cans first so we can compare them visually side by side, and then we'll move on to the tasting. Much as I'd love to, in the interest of science, I'm not going to add ice, simply because it will affect the froth, dilute the taste and condensate the glass. So let's open up the can and serve some out. That's a satisfying sound on a summer's day. But wow, that is some kind of shade of orange, almost radioactive looking I'd say. Nice and fizzy though, and the aroma is like an orange cordial. And I'll look forward to tasting it after we've opened the others. Next, popular French brand Orangina. Now, I tend to think of this brand as fairly modern, but I was surprised to learn it's been around almost 90 years. Although always a French brand, it began as the recipe of a Spanish pharmacist who partnered with a French-Algerian shopkeeper after taking his Orangina drink to a trade fair in the 30s. It was renamed Orangina and soon became popular. But their success really took off after World War II with the launch of this iconic dimply orange-shaped bottle, plus extensive advertising where they even hired students to be seen drinking it in popular places. Today it's owned by Japanese Suntory Group and available in over 60 countries. If you're in the US, by the way, you might be interested to know that in just the last few years it's been reformulated there to its original European recipe. Contents includes 12% natural juices, 10% are orange, but also 2% lemon, mandarin and grapefruit, plus pulp and orange peel extract. And as their adverts used to say, let's shake the bottle and wake the drink. So much more natural in colour and aroma too, a subtle smell of fresh orange juice. And you can see the hints of pulp in there too. So I'll be keen to try it. Next, from Germany, worldwide bestseller Fanta. Fanta has somewhat surprising origins. In World War II, unable to get Coca-Cola syrup from America, the head of German Coca-Cola decided to launch an alternative, exclusively German soft drink. They held a competition to name it, and Fanta was born from the German word fantasy. Originally, they used whatever seasonal fruit was available, along with apple, whey and red beets for colour, and by all accounts it tasted more like ginger ale. It was only later in the 50s that their signature orange flavour appeared, which remains their best seller. Today it's still part of American-owned Coca-Cola Group, sold in 180 countries, with Brazil being its biggest consumer. This one has 3.7% orange juice, plus citrus fruit and other extracts, including, would you believe, carrot and pumpkin. So let's pour some out. So similar fizziness to Crush, with a colour more like Orangina, but clearer. But a different aroma to both the last two, very sweet and light, with high pitch notes, a bit like an orange barley water cordial. But we'll see how the taste compares shortly. Next, Mexico's most popular soft drink, Jarritos, and apparently rolling the R is imperative, Jarritos. And in this instance their orange variety is in fact mandarin flavour. Jarritos was created in 1950 by a Mexican chemist hoping to rival Coca-Cola. His first incarnation was coffee flavoured, which went down like a poke in the eye, but his next flavour, mandarin, was much more popular, and by 1960 it was the best-selling soft drink brand in Mexico. The name Jarritos means little jugs, referring to traditional clay vessels used to keep liquid cool. That's unless you're German, in which case it means goat's shoes. Today it's owned by US Mexican food group Novamex and is one of the top-selling Mexican products in the US. Contents includes natural flavouring. So let's see what it's like. So a nice initial fizz, a brighter orange colour like Crush, but not quite as intense. And the aroma is very different. I'm definitely getting distinct mandarin notes, and also hints of ripe Galia melon. So I'll be very curious to try it. Next, you don't expect a drinks brand today to have connections with Leonardo da Vinci, but this one does, San Pellegrino of Italy. The company is named after the town in which it's produced, which has had a mineral water industry since 1395. Da Vinci himself is said to have visited the town in 1509 to sample and examine its miraculous waters at the foot of the Italian Alps. San Pellegrino, the company, began bottling in 1899, and as the town itself became a high society holiday spa, its mineral water became associated worldwide with fine dining. Their Orangeade, or orange soda, was launched in 1932 as a groundbreaking new drink combining fresh Italian oranges with their highly prized sparkling water. Today, the brand remains popular worldwide. In fact, in 2010, they sold a whopping 1 billion bottles in a single year. It's now part of Swiss company Nestlé. Contents includes an impressive 16% orange juice plus orange extract. So let's serve some out. So quite a frothy initial fizz, very natural again in colour, and the aroma is the most orangey yet, strong deep orange notes. And I'll be intrigued to see just how orangey it is in the tasting section. Finally, popular British brand Tango. Tango was created by drinks brand Corona, a Welsh company who'd been selling bottled sodas since the late 1800s, originally by horse and cart. The Tango brand was created in 1950 expressly to promote their fizzy orange, but later other flavours were added. Today in the UK, Tango is perhaps most associated with its string of bizarre and sometimes controversial advertising. The most memorable of which was a TV advert in the 90s which suggested that a large semi-naked painted orange man gives you a big double slap on the sides of the face when you take a sip of drink. The strapline was, "You know when you've been tangoed." Unfortunately, this caused a national craze for tangoing, and after complaints of damaged eardrums and deafened children, Tango immediately changed the slap to a kiss. In a further irony, however, it was named Britain's third favourite advert of all time in a national poll. It's now owned by UK firm Britvic, and orange fruit content is 5%. But let's see what it's like. So a long-lasting fizz and a bright yellowy orange shade. The aroma is very sweet, the sweetest yet, and smells like a concentrated orange squash or cordial syrup. But we'll see how it actually tastes in just a moment. So looking at them all side by side, they're so different it's amazing they're all meant to be orange sodas. American Crush literally looks like an irradiated Halloween pumpkin, with Mexican Jarritos arguably looking more like the peel of a mandarin. Italian San Pellegrino looks the most like a glass of natural orange juice, with the others also more natural but getting gradually brighter and yellower in colour. But with all that in mind, I'm now fascinated to know just how much they're going to vary in taste. So let's move on to the tasting. And we'll start with the iconic Crush from the USA. So in the immortal words of REM, I've got my orange Crush. So firstly, not as sweet as I was expecting. There's clearly lots of sugar in it, and it is sweet, but it's balanced with the flavour. It's not as orangey either, it's a bit like powdered sherbet, more zingy and citrusy than orange, with a hint of sour sherbet tang, and then a sweet aftertaste. Medium fizzy, and a slight cream soda mouthfeel. In short, not as sweet or as intense as it looks. I wouldn't choose it myself, but millions love it, and it's certainly not bad. Next, we'll try French brand Orangina. So not as fizzy, low to medium sweetness, but much more natural tasting, enhanced by the added pulp, which is subtle but works well. The flavour is a light fresh orange with a touch of bitter peel and the dryness of soda water. The mouthfeel is clean and refreshing, with a hint of dry bitter grapefruit in the aftertaste. To sum up, this feels like a fizzy orange for grown-ups. None of the sticky sweetness, it's subtle, light and very refreshing. Next we'll try worldwide favourite Fanta of Germany. So a similar fizziness to Crush but a thinner mouthfeel. It's sweeter though, more like sweeteners than sugar. It tastes a bit like a diet drink. Not a strong orange punch but light, watery sweet, almost Satsuma orange notes. And a touch of dry bitterness in the finish, though not as much as Orangina. Next we try Jarritos from Mexico. So very fizzy at first, but the bubbles fade quite quickly. It's sweet, but not overpoweringly so. The flavour's not strong, but it's very distinct, definitely mandarin rather than orange. There's pithy sourness in the aftertaste and a touch of sherbet, like the sour sugar on fizzy sweets. But its other standout quality is a thin wateriness, which gives it a surprisingly clean finish. I imagine this could really hit the spot if you were somewhere hot, like Mexico. Next we'll try San Pellegrino from Italy. So low to medium fizziness and the least sweet tasting so far, which I have to say I prefer. It's very orangey, the most so far, but not what I expected. It has deeper, more earthy, bitter orange tones, like a long life juice or pure concentrated orange, as opposed to freshly squeezed. There's a dry aftertaste with a strong peel flavour. In summary, very natural, very orangey, and not too sweet or sticky. Finally, we'll try Tango from the UK. Okay, so certainly fizzy, but wow, that is super sweet. They've really overdone the sweeteners, I'd say. The flavour is like undiluted orange squash, but the sweetness is so invasive it overtakes the orange and just leaves a sickly sweet, syrupy aftertaste. I don't know about a slap to the face, but it's certainly an assault to the senses, especially when compared back to back with the others. To summarise, I guess you really do know when you've been tangoed, and I wouldn't recommend it. So that covers how they all differ in taste, and now that we've tasted them all, as always, just for fun, we award our Taste Test Channel winners and Best in Class award. So for this test, picking first and second place was pretty straightforward. Last was also easy, sorry Tango, but I had a lot harder job choosing third, and really there's pros and cons for all of these, and of course a lot comes down to personal taste. But after much deliberation, our top 3 winners are as follows. Winning third place, worldwide favourite Fanta of Germany. Although I'd prefer this with less sweetener, this has classic fizzy orange appeal, with a light sweet orange taste and not too sticky. Winning second place, San Pellegrino from Italy. A world apart from fast food style sodas, you can taste the real orange juice in this one. It tastes natural and high quality. But in first place this week in the popular orange sodas from around the world, the Taste Test Channel Best in Class award goes to Orangina from France. For me, this had the freshest orange taste and a perfect balance of flavours, fizzy but not crazily so, sweet with dry peel bitterness, and light floral orange that was super refreshing. On top of that, I really like the glass bottle and it's surprisingly aesthetically pleasing to pour. A lovely drink for the summer, so well done to Orangina of France. And as I always say, taste is subjective and this is purely my point of view, but I hope it's provided some useful insights. So I really hope you've enjoyed watching this episode. If you have, do check out our other taste tests, and it super helps us if you mention our channel to fellow food fans. Speaking of which, a massive thank you to all you kind people who like, comment, share or support us through Patreon or Super Thanks. I'm truly grateful. If you haven't already, we really hope you'll subscribe and ring the bell so you don't miss any of our regular taste tests. Meanwhile, thanks for concentrating till the end. Keep your eyes peeled for our next video and see you next time.